One time, I'll be you.
Larry had it right.
And Tanner's picture with
Yeah, Larry did it.
Travis taking this one all the time.
Well, do you?
No, they didn't want to leave the window closed.
Travis was with
I just had to say what issue.
Are we the gone like
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Welcome all visiting guests. We're gonna make sure it's a short meeting. Somebody broke that condition. But I came here to get cool because I condition broke in Mayville, but it's broke here too. But Candace, we do have a quorum present. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion to approve March 3rd, 25 minutes.
Make a motion.
Got a motion?
Awesome.
Got a second? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve March 21st, 25 minutes.
Make a motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor? Motion carried. Approval of April 7, 25 board agenda.
Make a motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Teacher attendance recognition award.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Jones County Public Schools continues to honor the school with the lowest average number of teacher absences each quarter. Teachers this quarter at Comfort Elementary had the highest attendance rate during the third quarter. At this time, we would like to present our traveling trophy to the teachers of Comfort Elementary School.
Come on. What?
Come on, Higgins.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll have it all messed up.
1, 2, 3.
Y'all welcome to stay.
Thank you for the invitation.
All right. Girl Scout recognition award. Perfect.
I'm Allie Welford. I'm the local membership director for Girl Scouts overseeing Jones County, Carter at Craig and Hill as well. And we have been embedded in the schools here in Jones County for about 4 years and have worked with the girls throughout their school day, elementary, all the way up through 12th grade. And so this is an award for Community Partner of Excellence Award to Jones County Public Schools.
Awesome. All right, we're going to our discussion item, spring 2025 POS update, first reading.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you have in your packet there PLS updates. draw your attention to the table that's further back in the packet, where it outlines each one of the updates. Starting on page 1, one particular note is the Title IX updates. If you recall, there was discussion earlier in the year that Title IX was going to be some Title IX updates that come down. And then at advice of council, we were kind of sitting tight to see what changes might be made. And as we expected, and correct me if I'm wrong, we've kind of seen it swing back the other way with the Title IX legislation and policies. Also have on page 4 of the table, remote participation in board meetings and also voting methods for 2 of the PLS updates I thought were relevant to you guys. And then on page 6, extracurricular activities and student organizations. And this addresses the NIL, name, image, and likeness rule. And then finally, on page 7, licensure. This update there on policy 71. Again, this is first reading.
Who wants any questions?
No, sir.
Mr. Director?
Does our attorney feel good with all this?
So I haven't reviewed, I think these came out about a week ago. I haven't reviewed all the red lines by the School Board Association. If there are specific policies y'all would like for me to look through before it comes back for second reading, I'm happy to. I'm happy to speak more to any of the specific impetus for any of the changes for Title IX, anything else that's helpful.
Thank you.
So, I'm sorry to butt back in. So, are you saying we go over this, if we see anything, let Bryce know before the second reading, or let you know at the second reading?
No, so prior to second reading, if any of y'all are looking at a policy and think, I have a question about that, I'd like for the board attorney to look at it, please let your superintendent know, and I can review that policy specifically. I try not to go out of my way to review stuff unless folks have asked me to review it.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's all.
Michelle?
No, only question I have is the NIL. Who's gonna have to pay that? Who will that come from?
Sponsors, right?
It will be sponsors?
I would think.
I honestly don't know who would pay that, but I would think sponsors.
Yeah, I think it would be sponsors.
Private business.
Okay. 'Cause I know it's not like that completely. It is partially.
I can look into that as well. And slow down.
I was just wondering. It just caught my eye.
Booster Club.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'll pay it.
Indirectly from state.
I didn't even know it was all high school.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was on
Like
high
it would
school.
tell me that your large 4A high schools in some of your bigger cities, their booster club is probably struck in a check.
And see that being a big disadvantage for us,
Huge
perhaps.
for many districts.
You get a $35 ride from the auto parts store.
Well, that's kind of, that's one reason why some of the charter schools are as powerful as they are, as good as they are, because they're giving free rides, free tuition, probably. And some of the athletes,
Yeah, I can see where it's gonna hurt us in the long run.
Good.
That's all. Sorry.
Ms. Bird, any questions? Thank you, Mr. Witt. Department update.
Thank you, staff, for being here, and those guests that we have at the meeting, and those who are watching at home. I do want to compliment a couple of staff members. I've shared the department updates with you. Specifically, Miss Lisa Morton, our child nutrition director. She was selected by the School Nutrition Association of North Carolina to speak to Senator Brett Jackson on behalf of rural school districts to advocate for school lunch programs. I was able to speak
with a supervisor, a state supervisor of the school lunch program, Miss Lynn Harvey, and she complimented Miss Lisa Morton very, very highly. Lisa was advocating for our kids and what kids need and how important serving our kids breakfast and lunch really, really is. Senator Brett Jackson was very receptive. And so I want to thank Miss Lisa Morton for doing that on behalf of Jones County Public Schools. I'd also like to thank Miss Laura Parks and Student Services. Again, this will be the third year in a row we will be distinguished as a Purple Star Award winning school district. She will actually get to travel to Raleigh on May 8th, May 9th, on behalf of Jones County Public Schools and our students to support the services that we provide military students and their families. So Ms. Parks, thank you very, very much. Those are the department updates, highlights, and I've actually shared with you updates from each department. If you have any other concerns or questions, you can let me know.
Mr. Moss,
No, sir.
Mr. Griffin, Mr. Young. Superintendent updated comment.
This past month, teachers and classified employees at each school site were chosen. This is a significant honor because the teachers and classified employees at each site are chosen by their peers. At this time, I would just like to state their names because this is a high honor. From CES, it was Don Harper and Sharina White. From Maysville Elementary, it was Elizabeth Baruso and Alexia Marshall. From PES, it was Barbara Hayes and Leisha Ward. From Trenton Elementary, it was Brittany Cook and Pam Robinson. And from Jones Senior High School, it was Miss Tammy Wicks and Karen Parrish. If you have the opportunity to see these people, please thank them for what they do for our children and our schools. A lot of times, things can fly under the radar, but if they're being selected by those that they work with, they're doing something right. We've also are proud to say that Jones Senior High School has completed an accreditation application through Cognia. The majority of that work was done by Miss Tammy Wicks and Kaylee Crease under the guidance of Pammy Reese and Janelle Enstrom. It was an extensive amount of work, and what that provides our school district is credibility and the distinguishment of our students are going through rigorous educational programs and high quality standards. So going forward, as far as comparing us to other school districts, I think it's a benefit. NCAT Teacher Leadership Program, Ms. Megan Phillips was selected out of many applicants throughout the state. In fact, this week she's attending a conference. They chose teacher leaders from each region to represent their school sites. So when you have an opportunity to see Megan, make sure you give her a compliment. Today, this is exciting news. This is hot off the press. Mr. T.C. Dudley, Queenie Mae, and Dakota Nanny participated in the bus rodeo in Craven. T.C. Dudley, for the second year in a row, won first place and will be attending regionals for the bus rodeo. When you see these bus drivers, please make sure you give them a pat on their back. They do a significant amount of work, and like I've said in the past, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our bus drivers.
No damage.
No damage. And weren't our buses either, or our fuel.
Right.
Looking ahead, we have Science Night this week, April 10th at Jones Senior High School at 5:30 p.m. Special Olympics is scheduled for this Friday at 10 a.m. at the Jones Senior High School Trap. There is a rain date for this that Miss Laura Parks will be watching the weather very carefully this week to assess whether we need to move that date or not. Next Tuesday is Purple Update for military students. That's April 15th. Our staff will wear purple to support our military students and their families. And finally, next week, town hall meetings, Monday through Thursday, and they're paired with events at each site to make sure that our children and our parents are involved.
Which side is first?
Comfort Elementary is first.
Is there starting at 5 or 4?
It's starting at 5.
5. Even with their, are they doing a program too? It starts at
They're
5.
doing programs. The programs will follow us. So that
So they're
way
after.
to promote the attendance at each event.
All
Go
of
ahead.
all of them at 5 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Right quick, what order? Got something?
We have Comfort,
Maysville, Jones Senior, Trenton, and then Pollock.
thank you, Candace.
You're welcome. Sorry.
So is Josie interested in saying?
Joseph and Trent,
Yes, sir.
And I'm
Which
getting,
stars did you say?
14th. Couple of 14th,
Trump's going 14.
maybe the 15th.
No.
Jones and Trent is 16th.
Yeah, there had been a meal prior than something after.
You know what time is Fox?
Pollocksville's at 5.
And all of them's at 5.
Board members, that's dates looking ahead and also the highlights from the past month.
Mr. Boss, any questions? Mr. Griffin? Mr. Young?
No.
Action item, 2025-28 interlocal funding agreement.
Board members, I'm very pleased to share with you the partnership that's been made with Jones County Manager, Jones County Commissioners. It's been an extensive amount of time and an extensive amount of work between Mrs. Raby, Tharrington and Smith, myself, and Kyle Smith and his team. You have had the opportunity to review the proposed 3-year funding agreement. Tonight, the county commissioners and county manager will be formally reviewing and approving this as well. It's something that I'm very, very proud of, not only for you as a board, but for our students and our staff. So this evening, I'm formally requesting your approval of the proposed funding agreement.
Mr. Lawson, any questions?
Yes, sir.
Comment?
No. When do we need a motion?
Mr. Griffin,
I'll make that and get you out.
you got any questions?
No, sir.
First, I do want to thank the staff for working hard on this. I think this is a better agreement and all the hard work that you did on this. Now I entertain a motion.
So move.
Like second that.
Got a motion is second. All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
With the carrier design.
Approval of spring remediation plan.
Good evening, everybody. I'm here because last week we got a memo from DPI that they were going to allow us the opportunity this year to re-administer the EOGs during the last 10 days of school, which is something we used to do years prior. We said retest 1 and retest 2. If y'all been around a little while, you might remember that. And it went away. So this year they're allowing us to do that. So this remediation plan that you can see before you, I'm asking for approval to pass it so that we can re-administer any student who is not proficient on an EOG or EOC this spring. EOCs will come back, more into that in a minute in the summer, but the grade 3 through 8 reading and math, they'll be able to take that at EOG prior to going home, which is going to save us thousands of dollars in fuel, transportation, staffing, and all of those things. So it's really been a gift to districts for this school year. So I'll ask for your approval on this summer. The spring remediation, you'll see that EOCs are on there, and that's for the fall. So any students that math 1 or English 2 who did not pass their EOC, we're gonna give them the opportunity to take that assessment as well in the spring, last 5 days of school. So, that's a your approval on that one. Any questions about it? It just came hot off the press last week, ended last week, so.
You think they'll eventually let us do it at the end of the first semester?
Do I do what?
If they'll let us start doing this at the end of the first semester? It's not doing
I don't know that they'll ever, I don't recall it ever happening at the end of it. It's always been at the end of the year. Now, we typically would have brought those fall testers back in the summer, offered them the opportunity to come in the summer as well. We didn't have a lot of buy-in on that one so much, but we're hopeful that if they're in the building still, we can get them assessed and maybe some of them will show proficiency on that as well.
Question, Ms. Burr? Ms. Fiat? Mr. Griffin? Mr. Bill Walsh?
I'm good, thank you.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept the school vacation.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Amendment of 24-25 summer program plan.
Okay, so I brought this plan to you in March for the summer prior to having this memo, and this was going to be all 3 through 8 and high school. But now that we're testing our 3 through 8 kiddos at the end of the year, I needed this plan to be amended to only bring back the spring EOC testers for English 2, Math 1, and Math 3. So that's the only change on this, is taking off the grade 3 through 8 kiddos.
You don't think we could sneak the ones that might not be proficient after 10 days into the summer too?
They're going to get 2 days, they get remediation when they come back.
If we leave it like it is, we could do it all. We leave it like that, right?
Well, the high school, I'm not sure, but the high school, we only have 5 days to test them. So we just felt like if they're giving the test in the 5 days and give them 2 days of remediation, then try to test them again, it's way too chaotic in the 5-day window for high school. So we decided to keep it 9-12. So that's.
Any questions, Ms. Walsh?
No.
Ms. Fiat?
No.
Ms. Burr?
No.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I make a request? Right quick? You make me feel better. You and Bryce can take your jackets off as far as I mean. Y'all make me hot. Just look at y'all. Take your jacket.
I can't now.
We understand. Rest of you ladies, I don't know.
Speed this thing up, that's why we're keeping it on.
Y'all are killing me.
Textbook,
You wear long sleeves.
I didn't know that. I thought we
And a
had
temper.
textbook adoption purchase approval. Janelle,
I thought we had that.
let's roll.
Good afternoon. I'm not gonna read the whole proposal. I gave you a copy in your packet, but I'll go over a few things. This is our curriculum adoption year for 25-26. Some of the key points, what we did is we followed the process where we had teachers and principals surveyed to see which potential vendors they would like to have presentations for our reading and math curriculum. They narrowed it down to 2 choices, and those 2 choices you'll see are in the table on this page. Those representatives were contacted to get pricing options, and you can see the comparison there. A presentation was made to our lead teachers in each of our elementary and our high school, and they went back, shared with their teachers and staff, and they unanimously voted to continue with HMH, which we have had for the past 5 years, so that we can continue in. Textbooks were state funded, they were not paid for by any other fund, so the money is there. We figured if we do it for 1 more year, that gives us some time to see if maybe we'll get a little bit more funds in our textbook allocation for next year, and gives us a little more time if we wanted to explore other options. And as you can see from the prices, we currently have a little over $73,000 to spend on curriculum for next year, and you can see the 2 prices from the vendor. So I'm asking for approval from the board to continue with HMA for 1 year at $58,298.24. Any questions?
Ms. Berry, question? Ms. Fiel?
No.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes, sir.
Entertain a motion.
My motion is approved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Budget amendment number 7, Ms. Raby.
Good evening, board members. You have before you my request for budget amendment number 7. From the last meeting that was held on March 3rd, the current budget has a net increase of about $292,000. And that net increase is a result of additional funding that we received in both our state funding and our federal funding. For our state funding, we received the PRC 040 is our school safety and security grant. We received an allocation for this year. We've been currently operating off of our allocation from the prior year. So then this last month, they released the funding for this year, 2025, which was about $250,000. So those funds right now are scheduled to be carried forward for us to be able to use next year. So that was the largest portion of our budget increase. And then we also received $7,000 in PRC 082 funds, which are funds that are used for our special education state improvement grants. At this time, I will try to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Ms. Walton, any questions?
No, sir.
Ms. Griffin? Ms. Fiel?
No, sir.
Ms. Berry? Need a motion.
So moved. Adopt.
I got a second.
Got a second?
Yes,
All in
sir.
favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. 25-26 planning budget resolution.
Yes, sir. So at this point in the year, we are required by the state to have a planned budget for the upcoming year. And it must be submitted by law to the Board of Education by May 1st of each year. Based on our analysis of our trends, our fiscal needs, and all the other information that has been provided to us to date, what you have before you is our planning budget for next year for your approval. So overall, this planning budget anticipates a decrease in budget of about $2.3 million. However, I'll say up front that this is, even though this sounds like a large amount, this decrease is going to be mitigated by the district through current attrition, with the largest portion of this decrease coming from our federal funds that were just carried forward funds. So these are funds that we received about $1.5 million in this year because it was unspent in the prior year. So we knew coming into this year that these weren't going to be recurring funds. So we did not budget those funds in such a way that we would need have a recurring need going into the next year. So the decrease in our budget, in our planning budget from the prior year of about $2.2 million will be mitigated, as I said, because some of those funds we knew we weren't going to be receiving coming into the next year, and then the remaining balance will be mitigated through current attrition and other adjustments in our budget. So in our Fund 1, our state funding budget, it anticipates a decrease of $606,000. That decrease is due to the decline in ADM that we have experienced for this year. Our ADM has gone from 992 budgeted for this year to 962 for our budget for next year. This decline is also attributable to some unrecurring allotments that we received this year that we do not have firm confirmation that we will be receiving those allotments next year. And those are for our teacher recognition, our principal achievement bonuses, and those sorts of things. Are there any questions over our Fund 1? Change from last year to this year, or this year to next year? For our Fund 2, we anticipate a decrease of about $120,000, and this is due to non-recurring expenditures that are associated with our state retirement pension payments that we had to make this year that we will not have to make next year. So those funds were not budgeted for next year. In our Fund 3, our federal funds, again, I mentioned that we anticipate a decrease of about 1.5, and the majority of that is tied to non-recurring funding that we will not be receiving for next year. For our Fund 4, capital funding, we anticipate an increase of 452,000. And this increase is primarily reflective of the lease payments that will have to occur going into next year for the new high school building. These are not funds that we actually receive from the county. These are funds that are paid on our behalf for the county, but we do have to record those expenses on our budget and in our ledgers. For Fund 5, our child nutrition funding, we anticipate a decrease of 37,000. In addition to our decline in ADM attributed to that, there's also less funding because of that we feel we might be receiving from the Department of Agriculture. And then our Fund 8, we anticipate a decrease of about 460,000, and that is tied to non-recurring grants that the schools have received over this past year that we do not have guarantee that we'll be receiving going into the next year. So based on all of those planning allotments, I'm requesting that the board approve the planning budget for fiscal year 2026 that totals $19,819,447.68. I'll be glad to answer any questions that the board has.
Mr. Walker, any question?
Yeah, and it's minor, but, just reading, and this may not even be your department, but I saw, how many buses did they have in the park? I saw that while ago. Four. Here where it says, the school bus allotment. Oh, I just had it right here. What happens to that? Do we just hang on to those buses and use them as we need them, or how does that happen? What happens there?
No, you want to comment on that?
The school bus allotment that you're referring to on this document, over every year that we receive new yellow buses, the state provides us with the funding for those buses. So that's not funding that's coming from the county or coming from the school's budget, but it's funding that we're receiving from the state so that we can then turn around and make a payment back to the state for those yellow buses. Again, like the new building, we're not covering the cost, but we have to record that cost in our budget. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you want to know that we hold on to those buses?
The yellow buses?
Do we keep the buses physically? That's part.
Yes. Any yellow bus that we receive from the state, we maintain those buses until they're no longer serviced.
Okay, but we're using them or not. I mean, I know, we, you know.
Yes, sir.
I know we just said we're dropping population, you know.
Yes, sir. And even if they do have to take a bus off the road, which I'm not sure that we've had to do that, I do know that Mr. Dockery has the process where he's rotating those buses so that every bus gets used that we have, so that no bus just sits idle.
Okay, thank you. I know that's minor compared to what $19 million, but it just stuck out.
We use them when one from the shop is using the spare.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Wilson, that transaction that's documented on there, it takes place, but it's not our funding. But in case we were getting audited, she's doing her due diligence to make sure that this is where the money is and this is what it's being used for, even if it's coming from the state of North Carolina.
Gotcha.
Good.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, yes.
Mr. Griffin?
I don't have anything.
Ms. Field?
No.
Ms. Brown?
Are we seeing anything that's affecting us yet with changes in your education level?
At this time, no ma'am. We do not have a firm grasp of what our federal budget is going to look like next year, but at this time, we have not been affected by any of those changes that have occurred.
And maybe misunderstand, did we agree to take the planning off? Or no?
We agreed to take off the interim.
Okay, is that what it was?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're by law, we have to do a planning and
Okay.
we have to do a resolution. We don't have to do an interim.
Yeah, okay. And this budget includes the increase in the capital fund balance, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
And we're sure that we have enough allotted for maintenance of the schools.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. The motion.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Twenty-five, 26 local budget.
Yes, sir. The board has already provided approval for the interlocal funding agreement that we have worked diligently with the county office to put together. This local county budget proposal for fiscal year 2026 covers the first year of that agreement. So everything that was in that agreement is covered in this local budget proposal. So based on the information that has already been approved by the board, we also still are required to submit an annual local budget proposal to the county commissioners, and that's what this document here is.
Motion.
I'm making a motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 25, 26 fee schedule.
Yes, sir. The 2025-26 fee schedule is basically the same as the 24-25 fee schedule. The only changes has been noted on the very bottom of this fee schedule, where the high school principal has asked that we remove the band fee and the ROTC fee, since they no longer have those programs.
Make a motion to approve the fee schedule for students.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.
Public comment.
Everybody's time up.
Nobody?
Everybody's happy.
Board comments. Mr. Watson, board and shots.
Getting a chance to interact with the kids for the first time in a long time on a regular basis doing a football camp. And we're in pretty good shape. Raw material wise, our kids are like, even these 12, 13-year-old boys, who sometimes aren't in too big a hurry to be polite, but I think our raw material is as good as anybody's, to tell you the truth. We've got a lot of good kids. And I enjoy being out there with them. Of course, I'm stuck at 12, so that's an easy job for me. But I appreciate the opportunity to do that. It makes me young again. Not doing anything for my white hair, and it's not too good. What else y'all got? Appreciate you.
Good?
Yep.
Mr. Griffin? Ms. Rial? Ms. Burke?
I don't know if Rital was saying it last time we may have, but congratulations, Doctor. Yes.
Hey.
We're very proud of you, and we're proud of where you've brought our district and where we're going with our district. And we thank you very much for considering this your home. And we're glad to have you here with us. And Ms. Raby, thank you for all the hard work and everyone that worked on that budget of the county. I think the collaboration with everyone was a big plus in helping get that going. Kyle Smith and everyone working together, because that's what we're doing. Thank you all. Yeah, I was gonna say thank you to all these people here and the ones in the school accreditation. I mean, that's hard to call. So all of you.
Motion in the closed session, executive session.
Motion.
Second.
Got motion second to enter the closed session. General statute 143, 318, 1181, 85, and 86 to prevent disclosure of confidential personal information pursuant to General statute 115C 321 and to consult with the board attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant to 143, 318, 1183. Motion second, all in favor?
Good job. Good job. We didn't get that. We
They're
didn't
gonna
get
pay that AC under their collar.
Thank you.
Gonna get that air conditioner on, Miss Donna.
Hot spot.
Miss Donna, big bad night to come back. Yes, sir.
She did. She did.
Suffering back